Christmas trees feeding to your goats. Pros and cons. Okay, so pros and cons to Christmas trees being fed to the goats. Pros, they're a good supplement, good source of nutrition, antioxidants, the fiber, protein, all of that. Cons, so because Christmas trees are they come from all over the place, all over the country. But so a couple of things. One, you have to make sure that they don't have that they're not painted. So some trees, which I'll show y'all, to where they've got like they're painted green, to where they look fresher longer, and then others will have herbicides, pesticides, stuff like that, to where they're painted on them, because the Christmas trees that you get for that are between 5 to 7 foot tall, they're anywhere from 10 to 12 years old. So it's really hard to track down where the trees came from unless you actually go to the farm itself, and then whenever you do find all the information out, most like big chain suppliers, like as far as Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, stuff like that, they're probably gonna have the Christmas trees to where they're gonna look greener longer, to where they're gonna be spray painted. Not always gonna be the case, but in most of the time it's gonna be the case, because they're gonna buy cheap in bulk so that they can make a profit whenever they sell the Christmas trees during the month of December. So I wanted to give you all the pros and cons of that. And also in evergreens, there's tannins, which tannins are good in small amounts. So the fresher the trees, the better it is for the goats. Problem is, just like anything, whenever you have large amounts, it can be rough on the body and on the system. So one of the cons to another con to the Christmas trees feeding them to the goats is that you don't want to feed too many, because it can cause, if you feed too many, it can cause toxicity issues, and if you have bred does, it can even cause abortions. So with that being said, for us, we just got a huge donation of Christmas trees, the largest one that we've ever had on the farm. Normally we probably feed out about 40 to 50 Christmas trees from the time that Christmas is over to about the middle of February. Right now, which I have called a lot of my goat friends in our community here in Northwest Arkansas, to where they're going to take some off our hands, but we just got donated like 200 trees, guys. There's like 200 of them back here. Okay, so whenever you have that many, how many should you feed out to your goats? Okay, so for me, I have about 30 goats that are in my doe pasture, and for them we feed right now, because they'll go through them. I mean, it's like candy to goats. They love Christmas trees. They will eat them nonstop. So we feed out right now somewhere between 4 to 6 a week. We'll feed 2 at a time, but usually within 24 hours they're gone. They've already stripped the bark from them. Now for us, we don't want to feed any more than that because we don't want to take a chance of the toxicity or the abortions. And it's not their only source of nutrition. They still get their grain and they still get their hay. But during the winter and stuff, it is a good source to where it keeps them chewing. Now, another con to feeding Christmas trees. So, by the time December 25th rolls around, that cut live Christmas tree or fresh Christmas tree, it could be anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks old already. Now, if you've watered it, it'll stay fresh. If not, and if y'all are wanting to know, whenever you do get your Christmas trees, mix a water and sugar solution to give them, and make sure it always has water down in your tree stand, because that'll keep it fresh, and it'll keep you from having to vacuum up all the little needles and nettles. But okay, so whenever they start getting brittle and they start drying off and they start turning brown, which I'll show y'all here in a minute on some of these Christmas trees, you don't want to feed those to your goats, because whenever that happens, so the nettles, hold on. Okay, so the little nettles here, you can tell that, they're small. Whenever they're green, they're soft and pliable, okay? They really like them. But whenever they're brown, they turn rough and coarse and sharp. And whenever that happens, I mean, it's just like for us. If we eat something that, is going to be like, really hard, sharp, our gut is going to get poked. It's going to get pinholes in it, and it's going to cause major medical problems. Same thing with the goats. If you wind up having these nettles to where they get coarse, they get brittle, brown, to where, they haven't had any nutrition. There's no nutrition left in them whenever they get to that point anyway. You don't want to feed them. Thank you, Abs. Okay, so whenever it starts getting like this, yeah, they get sharp. I mean, they're still pliable because they've just turned here, but some of them, they're really brittle, really hard. And you don't want the goats to eat them. You just don't, because even though they will eat them, I mean, it's like they're eating, sharp tacks or something, to where they can't digest it, properly. So you always want to watch out for that. So pros: good supplement, antioxidants, fiber, protein when fresh. Cons: tannins. You don't want to feed too much for toxicity issues. You don't want to feed the brittle, to where whenever it's end of January, beginning of February, to where these trees are going to be pushing, 2.5, maybe 3 months old from the time that they were cut. You don't want to feed them. So you need to just need to pay attention to how much and how many, because if you have a small herd, then a dozen trees for a couple of weeks, or 2 to 4 weeks or something, that's fine. It's not going to cause them any issues. They're going to really love it. But whenever you have a large herd like we do, we have to pay attention, because we don't want to make any of these girls toxic with whatever they eat or consume. We don't want to make it toxic for their bodies. We don't want them to have abortions. We want them to be healthy. We want them to have healthy kids. So I hope that was educational. Okay, so some of these you can tell, like here, they're starting to brown, but they're okay. I haven't come across one yet that is like super duper, brittle and stuff, to where I'm not going to feed it. But whenever I do, I'm just going to put it to the side. But yeah, so it's a lot of trees. So what are we going to do with our excess trees that the goats can't, go through? Well, like I said, we're going to donate a bunch to our goat friends. And then whatever's left over here in a few weeks, we're probably going to have a really good weenie roast or marshmallow roast. We have a helper.
That'll come to me, Abby. You're so cute. Midnight, midnight, midnight. What? She loves us.
Okay, so I will show y'all that right here, that tree, they've stripped the bark off of it. That was last week's tree. Another one, pretty much stripped the bark. Let's see here. This one we gave yesterday, but this one we gave like 3 days ago. So they will definitely eat them. And this is why you don't want to give them too many, so that they don't get all the tannins from the bark of these evergreens and from the trees and stuff, or the nettles. So you want to make sure that even though they've got good nutrition, you don't want to give them too much. These guys are doing really good. Hi, redneck. They got a tree too. Huckleberry's got a tree as well. And there's the cows. They decided to come say hi. They're doing good too. Okay, so I wanted to show y'all the trees that can't give to the goats because they have paint on them. So whenever you're looking for like your Christmas tree that you bought for your family, once you're ready to take it down, if you're curious to know if it's edible for your goats, then this is a good indicator. So this pile here we've got as donations and stuff, but I don't know if it'll really pick up or not, but they're painted, so you can kind of see, especially on this one, to where, you know, the bark and everything and trees, it's all painted. Like this one you can see really well, to where, you know, it's more green on there, especially up here, you can tell. So, you know, and as you can see, these are a different type than these that are over here that we've been feeding out. Okay, so before it gets too dark this evening, as far as doing chores at our place, I just wanted to give y'all kind of that piece of information as far as the Christmas trees. If y'all live in Northwest Arkansas and own goats, contact me. Because we have plenty of trees to go around. But anyway, so yeah, goats are happy, people are happy. The weather is currently cooperating, and all is good.